talked football on the eve of Haverfordwest County going on another European adventure, 2 within 3 years. I don't know how many people saw that coming. And, we've also been watching lots of morning rugby, courtesy of the Lions, and also Welsh participation in Japan. I use participation semi-deliberately. Gordon, have you been waking up early and watching some of these Lions matches? But we'll start off there, and then we might finish there to give us a smile afterwards.
The Lions, yeah, I have watched the bulk of the games there, to be honest with you. They've been quite interesting, different lineups, which you do get on all tours, to be honest with you. Starting to shape up towards the test series, which is the most important part. I think we're doing okay, actually. It's a shame about Thomas Williams pulling a hamstring, won't be involved. Also, Elliot Daly as well, who I quite like as a back three player, play on the wing or full back. He's out of the door. But we've still got a lot of strength and depth, and there's been a big question mark of Mr. Farrell bringing in his son. I actually agree with it because he's been on 3 tours. He's very experienced.
Sensible move.
It is a sensible move, phrase, albeit his dad is running it. I think, you've got to think outside the box, and Owen Farrell's a quality player.
I think what his dad actually did very well was not name him initially. I think that would have raised eyebrows, having him not played international rugby. It's all, there's going to be injuries on a Lions tour. It's almost the perfect scenario for him now. Gordon's right. He's a world-class player. He can cover 10, 12, 15. He's a world-class goal kicker. If a utility back with nothing else, I actually think it was a no-brainer. I haven't really paid any attention to any furore.
Well, actually, rugby men do actually say that. Fraser. It's the media and the rest of the...
Exactly, yeah. No, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, Finn Russell's definitely got that 10, though, is he?
I'd say so. But then, if you do need to control a game with 20 to go or protect the lead, then you probably are. You're looking at a Farrell or a Finn Smith then. So, yeah, I think Russell will definitely start the tests. Whether he finishes them, I think will depend on the game situation. And
we spoke about Farrell. He can slip in as a 12 starting as well, with his boot. Yeah, it's a good combination to have, to be honest with you.
You mentioned with Thomas Williams, with that hamstring injury, he's home from the tour, leaving a solitary Welshman in that Lions squad in Jack Morgan.
Yeah, that's right. Jack Morgan is playing very well, though. He which I would have thought he would be in serious contention to start the test. The fact he hasn't been named in the squad against the starting line in the Brumbies, perhaps he might miss out. I think that will be very close to the first test team what plays on Wednesday, because there's only one game after that, which is against the Invitational Australia-New Zealand side, and you don't tend to play your test players in the game beforehand. So, Wednesday squad selection suggests he might miss out, but I think he'll be right in there and he'll feature in that test series for sure.
What was interesting, that Jack started out in Dublin and he had a lot of criticism for that particular game against the Pumas. I thought it was unjustified being the first game, to be honest with you, but the last game out, he was phenomenal, especially in the breakdown. Jacqueline, his support play, breaking the gain line. Jack Morgan was the man. The only thing that goes against him, and it's not fair on him, he is smaller in stature, but he more than makes up with his own game. Absolutely, he's superb flanker, superb.
Yeah, I remember coaches, was it Gatlin, got a lot of criticism for not picking him for Wales in that first breakout season.
Yeah.
He's shown his consistency, even after bouncing back in that fixture in Dublin. He'll surely get one test cap, you'd like to think.
I think he'll feature in all 3. Whether he starts, I don't know, but I'd be amazed if he didn't.
Yeah, I'm hoping that as well. Yeah. Definitely in the 23.
Yeah.
If only Wales had a few more players like Jack Morgan. They do have Josh McLeod, who's always been unlucky when it comes to international rugby. He's finally starting for Wales, but in a record, making that record even bigger.
Record continuing. Yeah. You have to feel for Josh in some ways. Look, if a young boy started out at criminal and he's offered 3 Welsh caps, I'm sure he takes them. But you look at the nature of his caps. He obviously started the home defeat to Georgia. He came on as a replacement when we were in control against Australia and capitulated famously in the last 10-15 minutes and lost that game. And then his 3rd cap is starting in a loss to Japan. It's been a pretty harrowing 3 experiences for him at international level. I hope for him more than anything to get a win on Saturday. But look. It was poor the way things transpired. Gordon mentioned wilting in the heat, and that's quite a good way of putting it. We looked out on our feet with 20-25 minutes to go, and I never thought we were in any danger after 40-50 minutes of losing. And it just smacked of a team, unfortunately, that doesn't know how to win at the moment, that can't control games, that doesn't know how to manage games. Halfbacks gave us little direction at all. I'd say Hardy and Costello's places, or certainly futures at the moment, are probably question marks on them. Who comes in, I don't know, but it was actually a very depressing feel to see Japan storm back at us against like that. We need to win on Saturday now. We need to win for so many reasons, for the World Cup, the ranking points, the seedings in the World Cup, and simply for morale. We can't go into the autumn on the back of a 19th straight off.
Well, it looks like we're going to be honest, Fraser, unfortunately. I'm just so disillusioned with the whole setup, to be honest with you. 21 months since we last won a game. That's an incredible record, isn't it? I never thought I'd be saying that about a Welsh rugby side that would go that long without winning a game. We all say it's not all about the winning, but it certainly is at this moment in time. I mean, we've gone down the rankings. I remember our discussions only a few seasons on here. Ben was harping on about Italy being kicked out of the Six Nations. I mean, we're coming very close to. Perhaps that might be a proposition.
In that discussion.
You know what I mean? We will be in that.
Well,
discussion.
Georgia are pushing very hard. Their head coach Richard Cockrell, you remember him? Pushing very hard for a playoff for the winner of the second-tier competition.
Yeah,
it's a valid argument. Whether the organisers will go for it, I don't know, because commercially and financially it would be a massive loss to the tournament. I don't know if rugby can afford to take that, but certainly in terms of meritocracy, it's hard to argue against it now.
It is.
And,
I mean,
you've got to question what's going on in WRU. The coaching situation gone completely quiet. Matt Sherratt has come back in a second interim stint.
What epitomised that for me was Ben the other day, our chat when we were preparing for the show, and he was like, I didn't realise Matt was back coaching. Like, that's how under the carpet they put everything. They're hoping that the Lions are going to be a big distraction.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Yeah.
But you're still playing games and losing. That's going to come back.
I mean, initially as interim, you understand it, but you can't go from intermittent periods from being interim coach to club side. It doesn't work. You need someone at the helm permanently now, long term. And unfortunately, we should say that the early signs of positivity that came in running Ireland close and out in Murrayfield, less so in Murrayfield. Certainly saw some good tries there, seem to have disbanded now. You've had the harrowing loss to England since, and then this loss to Japan. There are high hopes of steps being taken forward, but this is, has to be honest, the last couple of games have been every bit as bad as what we saw towards the tail end of Warren Gatland's era.
Which is such a shame, because you mentioned there about the clubs going on. You mentioned Josh and Sam Costello. The Scarlets, of course, led that fight back to get into a Champions Cup place in the URC. They beat Leinster. They had a great run of 8 fixtures, and the odds on of them qualifying for Champions Cup was something like 7%. And they've done it, but they now find themselves in this elite competition, and they haven't got that strength behind them, and there's all this confusion around, are they even going to be a side in 2 years' time? No,
and developments on that this evening as well. They're talking about Anglo. Finally, they are looking at some interest from the other side of the border in Anglo-Welsh League, but only if Wales cuts down to 2 pro clubs. So there is a lot of politics and a lot of manoeuvring to go before we get there, I think. And look, it's a messy situation. It's going to hang over Welsh rugby for a long time until it's clarified. We can't keep running 4 pro teams. We haven't got the money to do it. When that stops, I don't know, or what action is taken, whether we go to 3 or 2, we wait and see. But it's all very messy and quite depressing, if I'm honest.
It is. Who have Wales got next?
Japan again on Saturday. 50 minutes later, 6:50 a.m. kickoff time, so maybe be slightly cooler by 50 minutes. But
I think I'll have a lie on first.
You look now.
I'll take the dog.
They lose that fixture. Japan. You're going into the autumn internationals where you've got New Zealand and South Africa. Before that, they play Argentina and Japan. You can't so much change out of Argentina. All of a sudden, that Japan home game could come absolutely massive in terms of just getting a win this November.
That's a lot. And then, of course, the players are going to feel that pressure. They don't want to be part of that legacy, but they're in it.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Who they got to sort out a coach as well. Let's be honest. You've got to have somebody there to have some sort of direction. Nothing against Matt Sherratt. He's just filling in. But the whole thing is a shambles, isn't it? Let's be honest. From top to bottom, nobody knows what they're doing.
Before we went on air, I almost said, it was like, God, he just makes you want to just put in the towel for 12 months, isn't it? Just like, let's wait for this to blow.
Reset button.
That's what they need, a hard reset.
Losing all the hub officers as well, Fraser, in schools. It was bad enough losing all the schoolmasters.
Yeah, rugby's gone right out of the schools now. I think
that's why football is growing as well. We haven't got it right with rugby at all, and at its detriment, to be honest with you.
No, I agree.
And of course, on social media, all the grassroots clubs are putting lovely little photo sets of their coaching teams ready for an upcoming season. Again in the summer, we've got some wonderful sevens though. West Wales Sevens is happening.
That's great.
Next week. But yeah, the clubs are getting ready and setting their own direction.
Yeah, we talk about football pre-season, rugby. They've been going back as well. The first week of July, I think a bit of touch rugby goes on. I think I don't know how much banging it knocking each other about they've done at this stage. But yeah, they're getting back into it too. And very interesting leagues now. They're localised again next year. A couple of teams have gone up Division 4. Something very interesting.
That's always good to see. I still think, Fraser, that the structure should be changed. Go back to the local side of it due to the money aspect of it. Not so much travelling, bigger crowds. We spoke about it many times. I still feel the WRU should be calling that earlier than what they're doing. Yes, we got a few Pembrokeshire sides playing in the divisions against each other, but they should be going a step further, in my opinion, now.
And I know it's really early, but we've got a bit of time. So I'm getting Narberth managed to stay in that championship, but they've had a bit of a change of structure at the top as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they have actually. Obviously, new coach going in and moving aside or coming. Yeah, change of structure for them. Again, I can imagine them being competitive. I think they'll be all right in there. It was a tough season for them, and not going to Pontypridd, filling that picture was poor. We can't look away from that. That shouldn't be happening at championship level. They got away with it because Pontypridd agreed to reschedule it. But yeah, look, they've got some reliable campaigners now. They've been there a long time. You look at Yogi, Jonathan at 10 there, Lewis Gibby outstanding last year. And those boys are still young enough to be around for a little while yet. So, my friend Tom Clarkson Davis coming through at hooker, still got a few years ahead of them. So, no, I think Narberth will be all right. I'd back them to stay up again. They won't be challenging at the top end, but they want to be in that division, really. I think Pembrokeshire, it needs... I know what Gordon's saying there about local rugby, and I agree in the lower leagues. You need an outlet at championship level for boys who are a higher level for Pembrokeshire teams to, if they want to move to. Otherwise, you're talking a lot of travelling to play a high level of rugby. So you need at least a couple of our sides up there.
Yeah. And then very quickly, last question of the sports show this evening, completely different size and shape of ball, but you got your Wimbledon hat on. Young lady from Swansea made it onto the grass court. We've had the 72nd, 75th in Haverfordwest Open.
Yeah.
Will we see a Pembrokeshire player
ever play in Wimbledon?
I've never known it. It's a question for Gord.
A junior played at Wimbledon, and you know him very well. Well, Geraint John played junior Wimbledon when I was in school with him. So he's the only one who has played from that club at Wimbledon, not at senior level, at junior level. But he did play there.
There you go. No pressure for Jeremy Cross's son, but I know that he's been doing
playing really well. Possibly he'll be the next one.
There you go.
I'm the only one to play senior tennis. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
That would be great. Yeah. There you go. Well, when that happens, we'll be here to report on it on Pure Sport with Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors. Fraser, Gordon, thank you so much for your time, as ever, on a Monday evening. And a great big thank you to our guest, George, who joined us, still celebrating the Alan Brown victory over the weekend. We'll be back again next week, where we'll have more fixtures to reflect upon. Up next, it is Solid Gold Sounds with Chris Pitchford. Thanks so much.
From the heart of Pembrokeshire, on your smart speaker, PWR app and